Your weekly recap starts right now. Here are all the top moments and headlines from throughout the week.
From frustration to success, we've brought you the frustrations of several customers out of money and furniture. It's the result of American Signature filing for bankruptcy and closing Value City stores across the country. Only on 10, Andy Fox has this 10 on your side success.
Hey, thanks, Regina. People are really watching this story. It is trending, and today I was down at Value City Furniture and I was asked to lead the store. But a staff member there acknowledged foot traffic has increased following our stories. The viewers include those associated with Ashley Furniture, who are chipping in to help.
Well, it was kind of a gut punch, to be honest with you. You're expecting something, and oh my gosh, what's going to happen now?
Last Tuesday, Chesapeake resident David Burpo ponied up just under $3,400 at Value City Furniture, Greenbrier, on a credit card for this sectional couch system. Then got a call they can't deliver the furniture nor return his money because Value City is now in Chapter 11 bankruptcy.
My marketing director sent me the news story. I just said, we've got to do something.
Watching our story, Matt Stein, part owner of Ashley Furniture Store located near Value City. Stein called 10 on your side.
I wasn't expecting a news story out of this. I really just wanted to get his contact information so that I could delight him.
So we told Burpo to meet us at Ashley Furniture, 11 a.m. Did not tell him why.
Are you David?
Me.
Hi.
Stein.
I'm Matt Stein.
Hi, Matt.
I'm
Nice
one
to
of the
meet you.
owners of Ashley Furniture. You know Andy, right?
Yeah.
It didn't sit well with me. So I wanted to make you whole. I wanted to offer you a shopping experience, a free shopping spree.
That's extraordinarily kind and
Yeah.
completely unexpected, and I don't know what to say.
Yeah, well,
Kind of flummoxed with the offer, and
Yeah.
we so appreciate it because it was a really hard hit for us.
So off they went to find some new furniture at no cost.
and this is a leather?
Yes, it was.
Okay, awesome. All right, we've got something to fulfill your need. This sectional is called the Rally Up, and it's a top grain leather. It is power. It has the adjustable headrest. Why don't you sit on it? See if it's comfortable. It'll come out pretty far and allow you to almost go to bed.
This wasn't a day, though, to make a final decision. That needs to be done at home.
I have to ask the real boss, though. That's the important part.
Happy wife, happy life. I love it.
Burpo, overwhelmed. It's hard to comprehend.
You guys are mind-blowing. I mean, in a million years, I would have never expected any organization to step up and take the type of, it's a risk for you.
Well, it's worth it. We're a local family business, and when something like that happens to my community, I've got to step up and do something about it.
Stein also made it clear if Burpo gets any money back from Value City, he can keep it.
I push it towards somebody else. It's either towards the church or towards some another organization that would need that type of support as well. Massive kudos to Wavy. I'd say this is a big success.
Matt Stein also wanted to offer a career life raft to Value City Furniture employees. He has already hired 6 of them.
Now to a major breaking update on a high-profile homicide in Virginia Beach. Police tell 10 on your side they've arrested a man for the killing of 19-year-old Jeremiah Cuffey. 19-year-old Devion Williams was taken into custody in North Carolina.
And this happened just after midnight on New Year's Day on Fraser Lane. Williams faces second-degree murder and gun charges. We have more on this arrest tonight at 10 and 11. Also tonight, a mixed verdict for a man accused of illegally entering a school in Suffolk.
We've been following this case since the end of the school year in 2024. Investigators say Vontrell Thorpe made his way into Kilby Shores Elementary School as other students were walking out to recess. 10 on your side's Brett Hall has more on today's decision from court in Suffolk.
After reviewing all the evidence, including surveillance video, Circuit Court Judge Matthew Glassman found that Vontrell Thorpe did not intend on abducting and trespassing at Kilby Shores Elementary. It was on the last day of school of 2024. Thorpe slipped his way into the building as students were leaving for recess. He can be seen ducking quickly into a bathroom where 2 students were. He blocked the opening of the door. An officer was able to remove Thorpe from the bathroom, and as Superintendent Dr. John Gordon told us then,
intruder that went into the bathroom didn't even know they were in there.
It was revealed early on in this investigation that Thorpe suffers from mental health issues, and those issues were reinforced this month inside the courtroom. Thorpe told investigators shortly after his arrest that he never intended to abduct any children. Judge Glassman says based on the evidence, he would have to agree. Glassman also found Thorpe not guilty of disorderly conduct by reason of insanity. The only charge Thorpe was convicted of was possession of drugs. We did reach out to the Commonwealth's attorney for comment on the ruling. We've yet to hear back. Meanwhile, Gordon assured 10 on Your Side that security changes have been made to prevent something like this from happening again. Now, Thorpe will remain in custody until at least early March. It's at that point he'll be sentenced on the drug charge, but also it's when a behavioral health assessment will be completed to see if Thorpe can even be released into society successfully. Outside the Suffolk Courthouse, Brett Hall, 10 on Your Side.
Flu activity in Virginia remains high, but cases are trending down. But also cases of whooping cough are starting to appear in the Commonwealth.
Yeah, state health officials are also tracking cases of the measles. And at Your Side's Nick Broadway has an update on illnesses new at 5. Nick.
Yeah, Tom, Aisha, just seems like the ick is really spreading around. I spoke with a handful of epidemiologists who tell me flu cases are trending downward, and that's a good sign, but we're still in the height of an especially hectic flu season. And on top of all this, the Department of Health just confirmed the Commonwealth's second measles case for 2026. Nancy Welch, leader of the Chesapeake Health Department, says the vaccine makes this entirely preventable, reminding her of what life was like before the vaccine was widespread.
I have seen deaths from measles. I've sat there and held the mother's hands as their children died right in front of them. And I think that there's a plus and a minus, obviously, of having effective vaccination. Other people don't see the disease and they don't understand sometimes what we're preventing. That having these vaccinations is a blessing.
This second measles case was reported somewhere in Northern Virginia. As for the flu, emergency room visits are declining, but still elevated.
Flu season does extend into the spring. So even though we're seeing, a decrease now, it's going to take a couple more weeks to see how this season is matching up with last year.
The updated numbers are expected sometime tomorrow. To stay ahead of the flu as numbers decrease, the usual advice stands. Get vaccinated, wash your hands frequently, and stay home if you're feeling sick.
Any signs of respiratory illness, please don't go spread that to others. None of our little ones, our schools, our daycares, even out grocery shopping, just being mindful of that spread. For the flu vaccine, it's better late than never. It's not too late to get that flu vaccine.
Our own Aisha Tolliver sat down with Centera Health for a Wavy Plus special on the flu. They spoke about fun ways to get your kids to prevent the spread of illness.
The trick with children to do that is we call them vampire coughs. So if you've ever watched a vampire and they've got their cape on and they their cape over like this.
Cute, yeah.
So make it fun for the kid.
Flu, Facts Over Fear, airs tomorrow at 1:30 p.m. on Wavy Plus. As for whooping cough, cases are starting to appear, but they're not running rampant or anything. Adults can help everyone stay ahead of this by staying up to date on the Tdap vaccine. We need it once every 10 years. Nick Broadway, 10 on Your Side.
All aboard. Amtrak's new schedules in Hampton Roads start today.
The Virginia Passenger Rail Authority wants to provide more service throughout Virginia, but needs to make some changes that will affect passengers.
10 on Your Side's Kagan Hughes shows us how.
Starting today, buses are replacing some of the Amtrak services in Norfolk and Newport News.
There were 3 trains that went to Norfolk and 2 trains that went to Newport News. Starting today, that changes. There are 2 trains that go to Norfolk, so 1 train goes away and is kind of swapped with a bus temporarily, and then the 2 trains at Newport News, they stay 2 trains, but we add a bus that originates there as well.
The reason for the changes is due to the construction of the $2.3 billion Long Bridge project. It will double the number of tracks crossing the Potomac River between D.C. and Virginia. The challenge is that in the District of Columbia, we can only do construction from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Unfortunately, that is the time period where most people want to travel. So we had to make some schedule changes. Until the new bridge is completed, 2 daily round-trip buses have been added.
Look, we understand, and when we looked at these schedule changes, we wanted to make sure that we impacted as few people as possible, but still got the construction team the time they needed to get this work done.
These bus services will have stops at the Oceanfront, Norfolk, and Newport News.
After a couple months, if we find that these change schedules aren't working for people, we've got to be flexible.
Construction is expected to last until 2030. To learn more and see some of the new schedule changes, head over to wavy.com. In Norfolk, Kagan Hughes, 10 on your side.
Turning now to Virginia Beach, a volunteer rescue squad is missing out on some donations after a delayed mail delivery.
That's right. 10 on your side's Angela Bohan explains what happened and why it could affect their mission.
The Ocean Park Volunteer Rescue Squad got more than a dozen donations this January 2026. But here's the problem. The checks were actually mailed all the way back in late 2024. So the organization did what they felt was right, and they sent the checks back to the generous donors.
We recently received your donation check dated December 4th, 2024.
Martha Thoralt got a letter from Ocean Park Volunteer Rescue Squad that states, "Thank you so much for your intended support." However, it said the check dated December 4th, 2024 was received more than a year later. The organization said it happened to more than a dozen donations.
I have no idea what could have happened. It was very bizarre.
Because of the extraordinary delay, the rescue squad never deposited the checks.
I didn't want anyone to think that their information had been stolen or lost or forgotten about, so I wanted to make sure that the checks were returned to the original owner.
As to why this happened, that's something 10 on your side is trying to find out. We reached out to the U.S. Postal Service. A spokesperson said it appears to be an isolated issue, as their data shows mail delivery in Virginia Beach is, quote, doing very well. But he said they can do a more thorough investigation. The Volunteer Rescue Squad says donations help pay for ambulances as well as training, and they're building Offshore Drive.
I cannot explain what happened, but if anyone feels like their check didn't reach us, please reach out to us and let us know.
The RALT didn't want to trust the mail system again, so hand-delivered a new donation.
It's a worthy cause. That's why I sent them a check. They've serviced my family more than once. We're locals to this area, and they've been wonderful to us. And so I really hope that good comes from this for them.
And to find out more about the Ocean Park Volunteer Rescue Squad, including how to donate, find our story at wavy.com. In Virginia Beach, Angela Bohan, 10 on your side.
Norfolk State University's marching band is set to perform at Governor-elect Abigail Spanberger's historical inauguration this Saturday in Richmond.
Yes, Spanberger will be Virginia's first female governor. Norfolk State's band director says it's an honor to participate in such a historic event. The theme for the inauguration is United for Virginia's Future. The inauguration will be live streamed at the Virginia General Assembly's website. That shooting happened about 30 minutes into the new year on Fraser Lane. 19-year-old Devion Williams was arrested in North Carolina. Williams is charged with second-degree murder and gun charges.
The family of 19-year-old Jeremiah Cuffey spoke to 10 on your side after they learned the news. They called Jeremiah's loss a tragedy and say the violence must stop before another young life is cut short.
As a matter of fact, right there where we're going to have him buried at, I was looking at the headstones out there, and I was like, wait a minute. 2002 to 2024, 2006 to, I said, these are kids. 18, 13, 18, 15 out there. We're burying our children.
Now, Jeremiah's memorial service will be next week. The shooting is still under investigation. If you have any information about this shooting, call the crime line or use the P3 Tips app.
Starting today, the city of Norfolk says there will be a lane closure on East Little Creek Road between Granby Street and the 64 overpass. The closure will allow crews to complete utility work and install a sidewalk. It is expected to last until Friday. Now, this is part of an effort to add a second Target store to Norfolk. It will be located on East Little Creek Road. For the first time ever, Newport News city leaders introduced a community safety plan to help address violence. Since 2023, the city has invested millions of dollars into local organizations to help achieve its goals.
The safety plan highlights the work already done and what needs to be done in the future. 10 on your side's Michael Rinker joins us live in Newport News with more details now on this safety plan. Michael, good morning.
Good morning, Katie and Kiana. Back in 2024, Newport City's Mayor Philip Jones says he had a goal of reducing violence by 15% in 18 months. Now, 2 years later, they were able to drop the homicide and non-lethal shooting rates by 47% in just 2 years. They've also started a number of youth programs, one including is the Youth Thrive program that is focusing on connecting teens and kids with the community for accessible programs and opportunities. They're also going to be building off of this by holding themselves to 7 different pillars of violence prevention. That includes things like gun control, mental health, a healthy family functioning, among others. And Newport News is using these pillars to achieve a new set of goals that include strengthening their community through connection, partnerships, safe neighborhoods, as well as safe places. Now, a large focus of this plan focuses on the youth, specifically teenagers. Newport News has formed the Youth Public Safety Council to have a direct dialogue with those teenagers. And then in 2024, they also started the Office of Community Safety as well as the Youth Empowerment in Action Group. And they're trying to use some of these city offices as well as youth groups to work together and try and achieve their goals here the next few years.
A massive story for one of our area's greats today. Newport News native Mike Tomlin is stepping down as the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers after 19 seasons.
The Denby High and William and Mary graduate was the longest tenured coach in the NFL. He never had a losing season and, of course, led the Steelers to a Super Bowl championship in 2008.
10 on your side's James Catato joins us now for more on this news, all new at 4.
Yeah, talk about a beacon of stability, Regina and Ashley. Within the Pittsburgh Steelers organization, Mike Tomlin spent nearly 2 decades as head coach of the Black and Gold. And during that span, he led the team to a championship back in 2008, beating the Arizona Cardinals in Super Bowl 43. He went to the playoffs 13 times, won the AFC North 8 times, and like you said, never had a losing season. Today, decided to step down from the organization.
A fishtail to share from Virginia Beach waters.
That's right. Gather around. You don't want to miss this. Those on the charter boat High Hopes may have broken a state record after reeling in a bluefin tuna.
10 on your side's Kagan Hughes spoke with the captain about the big catch.
The bluefin tuna weighed more than 832 pounds and filled the back of this boat. Take a look at this fish. It doesn't even fit in the bed of the truck. The boat called High Hopes lived up to her name Saturday morning. Captain David Wright says days before catching the tuna, they kept coming back to the marina empty-handed. After going farther into the Atlantic Ocean, High Hopes and the hopeful crew on board felt something pull at their line.
Lo and behold, we had an explosion that looked like an atom bomb going off in the back of the boat. It's a monster.
As a longtime fisherman, Captain Wright says it was a long battle before they were able to reel it in.
We were in 48 feet of water. This boat's 58, so it's not even a boat length deep. There was quite a battle. It was an hour and a half.
The Virginia state record is still pending, but Captain Wright told us that he should be hearing by the end of the week when it's official. In Virginia Beach, Kagan Hughes, 10 on your side.
Oh, congratulations to David. Now, a white shark is making waves on the Outer Banks.
Marine biologists with the group O-Search say that Ormond pinged yesterday morning off the coast of North Carolina.
Ormond is more than 9 feet long and weighs more than 600 pounds.
He would give any fisherman a run for his money.
So the Virginia General Assembly convenes tomorrow in Richmond. It is known as the oldest continuous lawmaking body in the Western Hemisphere, dating back to the House of Burgess in 1619. Democrats making the trip to Richmond will be flexing new political muscle following impressive wins in the House of Delegates in November. Only on 10, Andy Fox has an exclusive interview with the Speaker of the House, Don Scott, from Portsmouth.
Hey, Regina, thanks. Speaker Scott is the first back-to-back Speaker of the House since 2018. A lot of turnover during that time. He was first elected Speaker last session and was, and make no mistake, the architect of flipping 13 House seats from Republican to Democrat. We sat down with him for about a 30-minute interview covering lots of issues from A to Z.
You know, it matches the suit. It looks good. Is it okay? Yeah. All right, good. It's different.
Speaker of the House Don Scott at ease, good-humored, well-prepared, focused to carry out Governor-elect Abigail Spanberger's political agenda.
She talked about affordability, making sure that we lower the cost of energy, lower the cost of groceries. We're going to do everything we can this cycle to take away. We got away with the state grocery tax. Now we want to help eliminate the local grocery tax. That's one of the things I want to do, to lower the price of goods.
The fact is, Speaker Scott and Democrats are driving the political bus, and what they want, they will likely get. Education, energy, lowering taxes, to name a few.
While Washington, D.C. is raising the cost of things, we want to, in Virginia, lower the cost of things. We want to make our tax system fair. We want to cut taxes for the most people and do the most good. Right now, we want to cut taxes this cycle. We want to make sure that we continue to buttress our education system, give the teachers what they need.
It is clear that this session, Democrats think they are calling the shots. Pushback from Republicans will be answered.
The hit on you is that you are very unfair to Republicans. But I'm reminded of the saying, to the victor goes the spoils. How much pain are you going to enact on Republicans?
No pain at all. No pain at all. I think the voters enacted the pain on them, not me. I think the voters decimated their party, not me. I think they have to take a look at themselves and look in the mirror. The voters told them to change course, and maybe they will and maybe they won't.
Don't let me die. Don't let me die. That plea last night from a 17-year-old boy who was shot on Acorn Street in Chesapeake. The unidentified teen is fighting for his life tonight at a local hospital. Tonight, 10 on Your Side will take you back to the scene where you will hear from a woman who joined others in using clothing and other items to save the boy's life.
He was shot in the chest. They put pressure on his wounds. He was coughing up blood.
And were they using clothing to apply pressure?
Yes.
Paramedics took over and rushed the teen to a hospital where he is under treatment for life-threatening injuries.
$150 million lawsuit has just been filed in the death of a 4th grade Virginia Beach boy.
The family is suing CSEP, that's the Southeastern Cooperative Educational Program, which serves special needs children across Hampton Roads. The lawsuit also names 4 of its employees.
10 on Your Side's Angela Bohan joins us now with more on the circumstances surrounding the loss of this child. Angela?
Well, Ashley, there is no doubt that the death of 11-year-old Josh Sykes, who you see here, is heartbreaking. But soon it could be up to a jury to determine whether his teachers and the special needs program that he was enrolled in is in any way responsible for his death. Today, I talked with the attorney representing Josh's family.
While this suit is about what happened to Joshua, Joshua stands for so many other children out there that don't have the ability, when they get off the school bus or get in mom and dad's car at the end of the day, and tell their parents what happened at school that day.
Matthew Moynihan is representing Julie Zarau, Josh Sykes' mother. On Halloween 2024, Zarau says she was called to Pembroke Elementary School to pick up Josh, who has autism. What she didn't know, according to the lawsuit, is that Josh had been kept in what Moynihan calls a makeshift prison for, quote, well in excess of 2 hours. The suit claims that during that time, the 11-year-old kicked the walls of the secluded area, and each time his head struck the unpadded floor. After that, Josh had been lethargic, his mom said, so she took him to the hospital on November 2nd. He was later released, and on November 3rd, 2024, Josh died in his sleep. The $150 million lawsuit alleges the defendants failed to protect Josh and did not give his parents crucial information they could have passed on to medical professionals. We contacted Virginia Beach City Public Schools, but they had no comment, deferring us directly to CSEP. We reached out to CSEP multiple times and are waiting for a response.
Investigators are working to learn what sparked a house fire. This fire happened around 1:30 this morning on East Princess Anne Road. Officials say the fire did not spread past the attic. The good news here, no one was hurt. The Red Cross is helping 3 people. The latest report on inflation shows a bit of a mixed bag. Consumer prices rose 2.7% in December from a year earlier, and it is still above the Federal Reserve's goal of 2%.
And grocery prices continue to cost Americans more money, all while gas prices dropped at the end of last year. Turning your side's Michael Rinker joins us live in Portsmouth with what this means for your bottom line. Good morning, Michael.
Good morning, Kiana and Katie. This inflation report really shows the trade-off that Americans are making right now, spending a little more at the grocery store as well as on utilities, but getting a little relief when you go and get gas at a gas station. Now, at the start of 2025, our inflation rate was at 3%. To end the year, we were down to 2.7%. So things did get a little bit better in 2025. And the good news is that economists with Oxford believe that the tariff-driven inflation is the worst of it is behind us. Consumers are seeing relief in gas prices, which dropped 3.4% year over year. Airfares also dropped in 2025. Auto insurance inflation, it's still high, but it's not as high as we've seen in recent months. But at the grocery store, prices are up. Egg prices are actually down nearly 20% in 2025, but overall, at-home food prices jumped 0.7% just from November of 2025 to December of 2025. Beef and veal prices jumped 16% last year, and then coffee was up nearly 20%. And when it comes to utilities, electricity as well as gas is still, those prices are up right now. Now, the Fed is going to meet this month to talk about the interest rates, and it's not expected that they will be cutting those rates despite doing so earlier.
Businesses at the oceanfront could get some money from the city to fix up their stores.
This is part of an improvement grant and also the beginning of the new Atlantic Ave grant program. Turning our sides, Kagan Hughes joins us live from the control room to explain. Kagan.
Yeah, good morning, Katie, Kiana. This grant has given out more than $450,000 to nearly 70 businesses around the city. It is eligible to owners who want to make exterior improvements to their buildings or properties. For 5 years, the Facade Improvement Grant provided matching grants up to $10,000. Virginia Beach is launching another program called the Atlantic Avenue Grant that is for businesses on Atlantic Avenue between 2nd and 40th Street. It's for improvements like signs and landscaping. To learn more about the programs, head over to wavy.com for a link to an application.
A Virginia Beach mother charged with killing her own child was found not guilty by reason of insanity during the first day of her murder trial. 42-year-old Leandra Andrade is charged with killing her 2-year-old daughter in an oceanfront motel back in 2022. Tonight, your Science investigative reporter Chris Horn was inside the courtroom, and he joins us now live with the latest. Chris?
Yeah, Asia longtime defense attorney James Broccoletti called it one of the saddest cases he's ever been involved with. Bottom line is Leandra Andrade will not serve any prison time. She did have some family members present today, a sister, a brother-in-law. They did not want to comment on today's result as they left the courthouse here in Virginia Beach. Andrade's 2-year-old daughter, Lanois, was found dead at the Cuddy Sark Motel on Atlantic Avenue. This was in the early morning hours of August 1st, 2022, 3.5 years ago. Andrade's from Washington, D.C. She was found unconscious and rushed to the hospital herself and was later charged with child neglect with serious injury. A copy of the search warrant said that they found an empty pill container, a glass bottle with some powder, a laptop, some cell phones and flash drives, and other items from that hotel room at the Cuddy Sark. And then the medical examiner Lanois died from an overdose of antihistamines and thus the murder charge. 10 Year Side's investigative team also found that the father of the child, Fabio Andrade, filed an emergency motion for temporary custody of Lanois more than a year before she was found dead at the oceanfront, saying that his estranged wife was in mental distress and that she was a danger to herself and their child. Now, 3 doctors have already evaluated Andrade and determined that she does meet the criteria for insanity. That, of course, weighed on the judge today. He accepted the not guilty by reason of insanity plea from Leandra Andrade. She will be evaluated over the next several weeks. Next court date is March 10th. At that point, the judge, same judge as today, Afshin Farashahi, he will determine whether she is released or she is committed for more mental health treatment. That comes up in March.
Now an armed robbery arrest out of James City County. Police have charged 29-year-old Robert Johnson with breaking and entering at a home Sunday on Staffordshire Lane. Investigators say he assaulted a 55-year-old woman and a 66-year-old man and stole several items in the home. The victims are now recovering at the hospital. Johnson's in jail without bond.
Today marks 2 weeks since a well-known real estate broker was shot in her home in the Ocean View neighborhood of Norfolk. While Judy Boone recovers, police have yet to make an arrest. They recently asked the public for video from East Ocean View Avenue on New Year's Eve. 10 on your side's Andy Fox has more from the Norfolk Commonwealth's attorney.
We are here in Ocean View, and Norfolk police continue investigating what happened at this house on New Year's Eve. As we've reported, well-known real estate broker Judy Boone owns this house and was shot while she was in her downstairs bedroom. You can tell investigators have been by. The fence has been dusted for prints. The broken side window into Boone's bedroom has been replaced, as has the glass door into her bedroom, now back to normal. We sat down with Norfolk Commonwealth's attorney Ramin Fadahi. Police are examining the facts and where they may lead.
We follow the facts and the law. The police investigate with an open mind, and we prosecute with an open mind. It's a truth-seeking process.
On Monday, Norfolk police released a statement. They need the public's help.
It means they are working diligently, they're continuing their investigation, and they are interested in any other information, regardless of whether someone thinks it might be important. They are interested in it to be able to bring justice in the case.
We also have a breaking story tonight from Newport News. Detectives say they just arrested a man for a homicide. They charged 35-year-old Gary Mack with first-degree murder.
Investigators say Mack gunned down 41-year-old Philip Murphy Jr. on North Chalice Court in June of 2023. Murphy was pronounced dead at the scene.
Spreading sickness is seeping its way into local schools. We've been covering various illnesses going around, from the flu to RSV and more. Nick Broadway is on your side with what you need to know to protect the little ones.
From call-outs to sending students home sick, school districts in our region are reporting a worse than usual flu season. It seemed to pick up after students came back from the holiday break.
We spoke with Norfolk School District's nursing supervisor, Shelley Lewis. She says this flu season is noticeably worse than last school year, with more call-outs from staff and students. Thankfully, they've had enough subs to fill the vacancies from call-outs and have yet to cancel any events. Lewis tells me parents often have a hard time with knowing when to keep their children home from school. If the child has a temperature higher than 100.4, a persistent heavy cough, skin eruptions, or difficulty breathing, it's time to stay home from class. She also highly encourages the flu vaccine and the usual prevention tips.
We do encourage good respiratory hygiene, cough and sneeze in your sleeve, use tissues, good hand washing, and sanitizing.
Later on Wavy News 10, what we're hearing from CHKD about the increase in young children going to the hospital with the flu.
And while some districts in our region are reporting a worse than usual flu season, some districts like Virginia Beach and Portsmouth say it's at the same level as normal, though they're still encouraging parents to keep sick students home. Nick Broadway, 10 on your side.
We're following breaking news now from Portsmouth. A police car was involved in a crash. 10 on your side just got this video from the scene. This is on Effingham Street at High Street.
And you can see the police cruiser and another car here are damaged. We're working to find out exactly how this accident happened and if anyone was hurt. We'll bring you updates as soon as we get them. Family of a Suffolk man is asking for help locating their loved one. 27-year-old Cameron Olds has been missing since Saturday. Newport News police are now investigating the case after his family says Olds was last seen Saturday night at around 10:30 near Christopher Newport University. He drives a black Ford F-150 with license plate TBG 4750. Anyone with information regarding his whereabouts should call Newport News Police.
Now to a major milestone for the HRBT construction project. The final piece of Mary, the tunnel boring machine's shield, was taken out. VDOT leaders call this a big step in getting the nearly $4 billion expansion project completed. The HRBT expansion project is the largest highway construction project in the state's history. Virginia Beach prepares for the possible legalization of the sale of recreational marijuana here in the Commonwealth. It could happen by the end of this year. Thank you for joining us here on Fox 43. I'm Kiana Patterson.
And I'm Katie Collette. Virginia Beach's Cannabis Advisory Task Force presented its plan to the city. It wants to be prepared in case the sale of recreational marijuana is legalized. 10 on your side's Michael Rinker joins us live in Virginia Beach with more on those recommendations. Michael, good morning.
Good morning, Katie and Kiana. The last 2 years, Virginia lawmakers have passed legislation that would have created this retail marijuana industry. Both of those bills were vetoed by Governor Glenn Youngkin, but now with Governor-elect Abigail Spanberger taking office soon, it is believed that she will sign legislation if it is sent to her desk. And that's why Virginia Beach created this task force. They did so years ago to be ready for when this retail industry makes its foothold in Virginia and in Virginia Beach. So this task force is going to be making decisions on how to regulate, how to zone, and ultimately how to roll out this industry in their city. The task force has presented 17 recommendations which cover public safety, zoning, and community outreach. And in that includes things like how are they going to tax the sale of marijuana, public input, how close can retail stores be to each other, also what time of the day can they operate, and a big one is dealing with applications from potential businesses in this process, from cultivating and harvesting all the way to the retail side of this industry. Ultimately, who do they just choose to approve or deny, and also how many slots are saved for local businesses. All in all, the task force is aiming to be ready for whenever this industry starts in Virginia.
It's critical to get ahead of it and to roll out your program both at the state and the local level in an organized manner. You can look at the New York State, who went through a rollout about 2 years ago, and it was very disorganized and it created a lot of problems.
And another big question Virginia Beach and many localities are going to have to make is, where does the revenue from the marijuana industry go back into the city or a locality? That's one question they'll have to answer, but ultimately they're going to wait to see which version of this bill does ultimately get passed by lawmakers and signed by Governor-elect Spanberger.
Starting today, Patrick Henry Mall will require visitors younger than 18 years old to be accompanied by a parent or legal guardian 21 years or older. The policy will be enforced anytime after 5 p.m. Monday through Saturday and after 3 p.m. on Sundays. Now, we are told it will be enforced throughout the entire mall, which includes the parking lots, the garages, and the walkways. Well, you may remember a deadly shooting that occurred at the mall just over a month ago, in which 26-year-old DeMonte Trevion was shot and killed. A suspect was later identified as Gary Colton Moore III. He was charged with second-degree murder, among other charges.
Grocery prices continue to strain family budgets, and many shoppers tell us the checkout bill is hurting. On this week's Financial Fitness, 10 on your side's Karina Garcia speaks with the experts to find out how you can stretch your dollar at the grocery store. Karina?
That's right, Ashley. At this point, everyone is starting to feel the pinch at the grocery store, so we set out to answer two questions. Why does food feel so expensive, and whether you can actually save money right now? We asked a local economics professor why food prices feel so high and what families can do right now to ease that pressure. Professor David Feldman of William & Mary points to beef as one of the biggest drivers of grocery price shock. It went up by nearly 20%. His advice: don't cut it out completely, just buy it less often. And government policies such as tariffs don't affect every item the way you might think.
Some prices have been driven up by policy, but some prices have likely fallen because of policy and their unintended side effects. If you're willing to make changes within what you buy, to buy more of what's going down in price and buy less of what's going up in price, you can avoid much of the pain. But you have to have a willingness to adjust your purchases.
Now, we also spoke to an ODU professor, Andrew Cohen, who says switching from name brands over to generic branding and something as simple as making a grocery list can really go the long way.
All right, Jeff told us it's going to be cold this weekend, and there's the potential for winter weather.
That's right. Will you have any opportunity to get out on the water this weekend? Meteorologist Brian Michigan's back with his boating and boarding forecast.
Yeah, I think if you're brave enough to do it, you'll have some opportunity. Mainly Sunday into Monday, though, for the best surf. If you're a surfer looking to get out on the water, for the boating conditions, it's going to be really hit or miss. Here's your 3-day forecast. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Friday and Saturday, your best looking days. Sunday, maybe a rain and snow mix possible. Some winter weather into the forecast as we go throughout the day as our next coastal system moves up and into the region. So let's get to the boating forecast. A little bit of rainfall possible for the day on Saturday, and then again, maybe a rain snow mix coming up for the day on Sunday. The bay is probably the best place to be if you're looking to get out on the water, on the boats. If you're going out into the open ocean Friday, try to avoid it. 3 to 6 foot for the seas. It's definitely going to be a little bit bumpy, coming down a little bit Saturday and into Sunday, but the wind is still going to be pretty steady coming up, especially Saturday, and that's going to blow the ocean completely flat. So surfers, not looking like the best in terms of those opportunities. Sunday, a better chance possible for some surf south along the Outer Banks. The conditions might just be the only thing kind of hindering us here. Waves will be around 1 to 2 feet for Virginia Beach, around 2 feet for the Outer Banks coming up for the day on Sunday. Again, winds are going to be a problem. Check back in on Monday where we could see a little bit more swell coming out of that system that passes us by offshore, maybe in the 2 to 3 foot range with some offshore winds. And that'll mainly be, again, for the Outer Banks, just kind of catching the most of that swell. If you're in Virginia Beach, there's really not going to be much to go on Sunday and into Monday. So it's another one of those weekends here along the East Coast where it's kind of a hit or it's a miss. So here's the stoke meter. We're kind of missing out this weekend. Friday, not much going on. Same thing for Saturday with the strong offshore winds. We'll have really not much surf out there. Sunday, if you're along the Outer Banks, you may have a window. And then Monday, I think, is your best bet, especially, again, for those along the Outer Banks.
And we have developing news from Emporia. A massive fire broke out at the old Georgia Pacific plywood plant near US 58. Check out this drone video from a Wavy viewer. That is intense. You can see fire engulfed the entire plant. Firefighters say this started around 6:30 last night. The wind then carried embers to nearby woods and across Highway 58, starting brush fires. Crews were able to put the fire out after several hours. We are still working to learn if anyone was hurt. We are following breaking news from Norfolk. A man was hurt after he jumped out of a second-story window to escape that house fire. The fire happened around 7 this morning on Colley Avenue. We're told the man was rushed to the hospital for treatment. No one else was hurt. We're still working to learn more from firefighters. Be sure to stick with us on air and online for updates. A woman faces charges for a shooting incident in Virginia Beach. Police responded to a shots fired call on Smoky Chamber Drive on December 27th. Javante Johnson told dispatchers his child's mother had shot at him and shattered glass inside a home. Well, police say the woman was identified as Portia Scott. Scott and Johnson were not at the home when officers initially arrived. According to investigators, Johnson later told officers the weapon involved was an airsoft gun. However, a follow-up investigation revealed damage to Johnson's car consistent with a firearm round, including a fresh bullet hole in the passenger side door panel. Scott is charged with malicious wounding, multiple firearm charges, and abuse or neglect of a child causing serious injury.
As temperatures feel like the teens this morning, the American Red Cross is warning of dangers with freezing temperatures.
There are things you can do, of course, to keep yourself and your family safe as you head out this morning.
10 on your side's Michael Rinker joins us live in Portsmouth out in the cold to share some tips on beating that cold weather. Good morning, Michael.
Good morning, Kiana and Katie. From heating your home to staying warm once you leave your house, it's important to keep safety in the top of your mind. And the American Red Cross says the best way to do that is to make a plan for your day. From the start of your day to leaving your house to coming home, make sure that you are prepared for the elements outside. And for the instances of potential inclement weather, whether it is snow or freezing rain, you need to be prepared. It's important to have 3 essential items in your car most of the year. That's a blanket, a flashlight, and then also a sand. If the roads are icy, you can use the sand to help clear up the roads, and then also maybe just a snack like a Nutri-Grain bar, something along those lines. But then at home, if you're using a heater, make sure there's plenty of space around that. The Red Cross says 3 feet is a safe amount of space there. And then know the signs of frostbite and hypothermia. Those include numbness, discoloration, shivering, confusion, or even drowsiness. And then when the temps get below freezing like they are this morning, the Red Cross urges everyone to have a plan, and that starts with what you're wearing.
Layers is the best approach, making sure you're covering your head, your ears, your hands, and then you're limiting the amount of time that you're going to be outdoors. So that means you're limiting your exercise, limiting your work if possible. If you do have to work outside or you're going to be working out, taking frequent breaks. And then finally, making sure that you're listening to your body and that you're watching for the signs and symptoms of cold-related illnesses.
We're also hearing more details after a man charged with shooting a police officer in Portsmouth was found not guilty. Officers were called for a possible hostage situation at the Henley townhomes on March 10th. Police did not have an exact address, so they knocked on several doors, including the door to Rakeem Christian's home. Christian's attorney says 10 minutes before the officers knocked, Christian received a threatening call from the boyfriend of his daughter's mother, which created confusion on who was at the door. Officer Rashad Banks admits he didn't identify himself as police and says Christian fired a shot as soon as he opened the door, grazing the officer.
I think that the evidence truly created a reasonable doubt about whether, first of all, he even knew that the person that was knocking at his door was a police officer. It was dark. There was no indication that it was a police officer. The police vehicle was parked at some distance. The officer did not announce that he was an officer. There was simply 5 loud raps on the door. So first, I think there was a legitimate question. Did the Commonwealth show beyond a reasonable doubt that he even knew this person was a police officer?
For more on this story, head on over to wavy.com. From Norfolk, new details are emerging about the shooting of Norfolk real estate broker Judy Boone on New Year's Eve. 10 on your side's Regina Mobley just returned from a press conference about the case and brings us the latest.
It was 11:55 p.m. on New Year's Eve when someone opened fire from the bayfront side of the East Ocean View Avenue home. A family member tells 10 on your side 1 to 3 gunshots were fired into Boone's bedroom. The blinds were open and Boone could not see the danger, but it appears the shooter had a clear view of Boone, who was lying in her bed. Attorney Peter Decker III offered one detail that makes the case even more disturbing. Did she have surveillance video of this?
She did, but apparently the intruder, or whatever you want to call this person, moved the cameras, was able to reach the cameras, maybe used a stick or whatever to point the cameras away from the back porch. So we do not have any photographic evidence, and that's why we're asking the community, please check your Ring cameras for the whole night of December 31st.
10 on your side captured video of the displaced surveillance camera that sits near a beach access that is commonly used by locals.
4 adults, 2 dogs, and 2 cats are displaced after a late-night house fire in Virginia Beach. These are photos from Southern Point Circle off North Great Neck Road. The fire happened just after 11 last night, and one person went to the hospital. We're working to find out how that person's doing now. Investigators say the cause was deemed accidental.